What is going on, investing bros? Tis I, T-Shroom, going to be taking you deep into the charts. Going to be getting into a tiny little bit of news here, but overall, we are pumping. Bitcoin is seeing some highs we haven't seen in a little while, and it's nice to see. I'm going to start out here on the monthly charts for Bitcoin, but before I do, make sure that if you are new to the channel, that you consider subscribing. If you get some alpha, if you get a little bit of value out of this video, I'm sure you will. And also, mash the like button, please. Very, very appreciative of that. The monthly charts here showing us that we are a little more than halfway through April. Getting into this monthly candlestick here, you can see we are closing above what I consider to be a very important line of support at 64,008. We have a decent amount of sunlight between that level and where we are currently here at 66,145. So that's really nice to see. About a 2-point spread, 2 percentage point spread there both ways. So that's pretty nice. Let's go down into a little bit more reasonable time frame here. Very zoomed in. Here on the daily charts here, you can see we have not only gotten back up above this 64 line, 64.8, but we've also been able to go ahead and break out of an ascending triangle that was down on a much lower time frame, about the hourly. I'll go ahead and kill that because we are out of it now. And you can see that if I throw up a parallel channel, that we are actually past the midline of this trading channel we are in. But indeed, it is a trading channel, and that means that we could be sideways and kind of range bound for quite a while. As you can see, this channel has really started back here in early March and has been marching on, so to speak. Here, seeing a low down here, March 20th, then coming up, printing a high after a fail to get back to the top of this channel, printing a high here, or at least wicking a high actually, on April 8th, and then coming back down and wicking a low here on April 17th. Now, the question is, do we come back and hit this high? For traders, this is the question, right? Because you could make a decent amount of cash here on a leverage trade. You get about 18. You get about 9% movement to the upside. That could equal really good gains, again, on a leverage trade or a spot trade. You know, if you're trading with $800,000 or something like this, that could work out very, very well for you. But what I'm really liking, what I'm seeing here, if I'm a trader, is getting past this midline here. That is pretty big. Now let's kill the parallel channel and let's bring in the Bollinger Bands, because the Bollinger Bands tell a little bit of a different story here. Before I get to the Bollinger Bands, which, you know, folks who've ever opened a chart and looked at Bollinger Bands have probably already gauging what I'm going to say here. Before we do, let's look at some momentum indicators. Here on the daily chart, we're getting a nice bullish cross here on the MACD lines. They've been coming down, and we had a failed cross here back on the 31st, failed cross here on the 11th. But now we are, similarly to how we got a bear cross here up top back in March, that's led to this general kind of downtrend, cooling of momentum. We are now seeing the opposite potentially about to take place. But we saw it here and we saw it here. So don't get your hopes up too high. You know, we could see a lack of that cross and a resumption to the downside. At this point, I'm thinking that that's probably not going to happen. My base case here is that we do go ahead and see how high in this range we can test. And that brings me to the Bollinger Band. That's the battleground for today on the daily chart. Taking a look here, you can see that the Bollinger Band is just above where we've been able to wick, 66,500. And man, is it close. It actually may have wicked right into it. So getting up above that level will be crucial for today. We have already done what we needed to do in terms of the daily charts, getting up and printing above. That was here on the 21st of April over the weekend. We got an entire candlestick, although it was extremely thin and skinny. This may even be well, you can't call it a spinning top because it's the next candle's eclipsing it. But very, very, very good to have a full candle close above that 64,800 line. Another thing to mention here is this uptrending line of support, which has been which has been, obeyed here. This is actually where we're finding support here and the 64.8 line. So that's nice to see as well. So a lot of bullishness here. Let's check out the Lux Algo oscillators. Again, this video is brought to you in part by Lux Algo. You've seen this reversal dot here and positive money flow. That is really nice to see there. That is going to be bullish. Let's see. So we've got a lower high here. So now we're really trying to make an attempt here on the hyperwave to go ahead and right this wrong and get up above this previous low here, which we're making good progress of getting above that 42.59. Really, you want to get back up above the 50 line, and then that should be pretty bullish. If we can get back up above the 50 line after spending a lot of time down here below, that would be very, very bullish. So overall, bullish for Bitcoin. Very nice to see. Let's take a look generally at the market as a whole, and it is green with a few splashes of red. Bonk down 5.2, WIF down 3.6. Let's see what else we've got. ENA down a little bit. But overall, you are seeing some pretty good green names. Pendle here up 13.7% today. Very nice. Pendle, very bullish coin here in the last couple months. Continues that trend. Pith getting a nice bid to the upside here, 4.6%. And Near up 10.5%. So we're seeing a lot of good names moving to the upside. Caspa getting a nice bid here. Caspa, guys, if you are looking for a coin to buy, Caspa is a good one. AVAX is really, really good as well. It's behind me though. Oh, up 5.4%, getting a nice bid. And Link, some of my favorite coins right here, right next to me. And I find that remarkable because they don't print in the same space. If you refresh the page, now they'll be scattered all over the page. So, nerding out here at 9:09 Eastern Standard Time, getting a little crazy here. Let's take a look at the Ethereum charts and see what we can't pull out. And by Ethereum, I mean Cardano. You didn't think I was going to go look at the Ethereum charts, did you? All right, let's take a look here. Oh, and I didn't look at my big fib on Bitcoin, so I'll have to go back and look at that. Let's turn off this fib here because I don't even remember drawing it on Cardano. Let's see how well this has held up. Oh, not too bad actually. This fib drawing has held up pretty well. Unfortunately, the price hasn't though. On the daily, we'll be fighting for that midline of the Bollinger Band as well here at 52 cents for Cardano. That'll be coming up very soon. About to cross over the 50 line with money flow positive, or moving in a positive direction, that is. Money flow is actually negative, in a negative position. Let's see what else we've got here. So we've gotten that bull cross, and some green histogram sprouts starting to grow here. Someone's been watering the MACD lines here. Very nice to see. And we have that bull cross. So this is a full expression here of what we were seeing, jumping back over to Bitcoin, on the MACD daily, which has not yet crossed. Now Tim has kind of steered me right on this because what really matters is the movement, right? It's the initial curling of the line to indicate bullishness or indicate a reversal, a change in momentum. And the histograms certainly are doing this as well. In fact, for the first time since March 16th, we may actually get a transition into green histograms here. So that would be very, very nice. Cardano has already made this cross, so it's very bullish for Cardano. Let's throw up that big fib that I've got for Bitcoin, and then we'll jump into the chat and see what's crack-a-lackin' with the bros. All right, so from a fib standpoint, turn off the Bollinger Band. From a fib standpoint, we are looking to break back into the platinum pocket and push higher, right? The top of the platinum pocket was the major rejection zone that kept us from getting new all-time highs, meaning 64,000 and 74,000 and 75,000, right? Those would have been the next levels for the all-time high breakout. But, you have to take what you can get. We did get an all-time high of 73.8. So that's really nice to see, for sure. So now that's kind of where we're trying to head with Bitcoin is to get back up into that platinum pocket and make our way to the upside. Will we do it? Well, we'll have to see. But if this channel is any indication, we are on our way to doing that. We are on our way. So it's very good. All right, let's jump on into the chat here. Crux of Crypto saying Caspa for the win. You got to love it. Doug Rosenbach said, crypto something you have get out before everyone else does, like a game musical chairs. A little bit of broken English here, but there is some truth, which is good. So crypto is not yet even really close to the point where you'd want to get out, but there will be a point in time, probably around this time next year, we will be very seriously considering if the cycle is ending sooner, right? And we'll be trying to time the top. Now, some of you might be hearing this and you're wondering, what do you mean by cycle? What does that mean? And why would I want to sell crypto? You guys cover crypto. You're bullish on crypto. Why would you ever consider selling crypto? Well, let's go over here and look at the Bitcoin chart zoomed out. Clear it off. Take a look here. Okay, so this is what is meant by cycle. So if we go back here to 2017, you can see that there was a 1,400% move to the upside here from $1,200 Bitcoin to $19,000 Bitcoin, right? So that would have been a bull cycle to that upside, right? But then you do get a high, and then like Doug said, like musical chairs, if you're left holding the bags, you're going to be taking a ride potentially down 82% of what you got. Now, there will be some daylight between where you entered and where you exit if you got in early enough, right? But that is absolutely true what Doug is saying. Now, where are we in the cycle would be the next question. And I would say that compared, so here's another example, right, of the cycle, 780% move to the upside, all within 623 days, right? So we're not talking about years and years and decades and centuries here. We're talking about just a couple of days, 600 days, right? And then there was a move, right? You'd wanted to get out of it of 75%. This is Bitcoin to the downside, right? Down to notoriously 15.7 was the low of this bear market, of the bear market we just came out of. But there was daylight between those lows and the lows that you would have gotten into if you had bought, quote unquote, early, right? Reaching the halfway mark of the stream here. Make sure you guys are smashing the like button. Make sure that you guys are considering subscribing. And let me know any questions you might have. We'll get to the Q&A section here at the end of the stream. I do have a couple of stories. They're not very hard-hitting, I wouldn't say, but they are interesting developments. So getting back here to Doug's comment, where are we in the cycle, right? Are we at the point in the musical chairs where you want to be getting out? Well, one thing that we can say for sure is that this would have been a much better time to buy Bitcoin than where we are now, right? Much better in terms of price, but not better in terms of and also better in terms of quantity, because you would have been able to buy more for $1 back here. Now, the amount of Bitcoin you can get for $1 is roughly half, and that has nothing to do with the halving. Don't get it twisted. That just has to do with the price was literally half, $30,000 per coin just in September. Really, just in October, right? So in just a short amount of time, in just 200 days, let's see, when did we first hit 60,000? We first hit it back here. Just in 120 days, Bitcoin doubled in price. Right, so where are we in the cycle? Well, really, we're probably around here in the cycle. We've had the bear market, and then we've had an initial move higher, and now we're kind of in the chop. Now we're in the sideways chop. Again, this is an equivalent, a rough, very rough equivalence, but this is generally kind of true, right? Here in the cycle, right, we're in this chop where there are pretty significant swings to the downside. That's a 15% swing. It looks small here on the chart. Then you get up here. This is a very significant swing. Does not look small on the chart, but 31% right? So we're kind of in this zone here where we're in the upswing to the full expression of the bull market, right? And the halving plays a big role in this, but I think we'll save that fun for another day because the halving just happened. If you don't know, it happened on the 19th, around 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 19th. We celebrated it here in the Investing Bros, and we had a very, very good time. Arlene Collins asking about ICP. We'll take a look at the ICP charts here in just a minute. Crux of Crypto said, Average Crypto Joe, have you read my quick dive on Arrow? So it looks like somebody was asking about Aerodrome. Crux of Crypto is our esteemed analyst here at the Investing Bros, and he does go ahead and drop quick dives in our Discord, which you can get access to if you join the YouTube membership. You will get access to the paid channels in Discord where Crux of Crypto drops the quick dives there that are excellent little readers for you to understand and know more about what matters with these different crypto projects that are covered. So overall, Doug, I would not say that we're at the point where musical chairs is being played. I think, just very, very rough price predictions. I think conservatively, and by conservative, I mean very conservatively, we could get up to 150,000 per Bitcoin. Oh, all my lines come back. But it wouldn't be completely out of the question for us to go ahead and pump all the way up to 400,000, right? Now, this would be a very generous estimate, I would say. Could it go higher than this? It could, right? There's a lot of geopolitical factors. There's a lot of American socioeconomic factors. There's a lot. It really just depends how the market adopts this technology in the period of time that will encompass the bull market, right? So there's a lot that I could say about how, why we could go higher than 400,000, right? But overall, to answer your question, Doug, is the only reason that you would sell now, that you would sell today, right, is because you do not have faith that we are going to reach these price predictions, right? And maybe you do. Maybe you have reason. Maybe you have an edge on the market, and maybe you have a giant short on Bitcoin because you think that we're not going to get to these levels, or that we're not going to at least get to 150,000 by the end of 2024, or by the end of 2025, right? The bull market should be winding down around the fall of 2025 if history, which is very clearly defined here, if history on the price chart is any guide. 2025, the fall of 2025 is when the bull market should be winding down. That's when you're asking that musical chairs question more accurately. Right now, if you're selling, you're really just handing your Bitcoin over to BlackRock for a discount. And you don't want to do that. You want to be the beneficiary of your excellent price entry in the bear market. My average price entry is around $28,000 per coin, which is okay. It's not the best, right? It could be 20, it could be 15. Could be 15. Let's keep moving. Well, I guess it couldn't be 15. It'd be north of 15. Probably your best entry would be like 16,000 if you were DCAing. I guess you probably could have. Anyway, okay, let's move on. Let's get into the stories here, guys. Let's get into the stories. Were there any other questions, though? And then Crux dropped some alpha here. We'll read this in a second. Okay. ALJR said, good morning, all. Question. The DXY has massive indications on a pump in the various time frames. Okay. This could cause a strong move down in the next couple of days for Bitcoin. No? Any help would be awesome. Well, that's generally true in terms of dynamic between Bitcoin and the Dixie. Let's jump over to the Dixie to take a look. What I would say is that recently the Dixie and Bitcoin have been moving in tandem sometimes, and that is a little bit disorienting, right, for the market. Now, you said that there's massive indications on the pump in various time frames, meaning that you're thinking that the Dixie could pump. The MACD lines and the histograms are pretty healthy, although it's decelerating here on the daily chart. But yeah, I mean, generally the Dixie looks bullish, meaning it can go higher. Maybe not the most bullish oscillators here from ALGO, a sponsor of the channel. But overall, I would have to agree that the Dixie could push higher. It could push up, similar to how Bitcoin's in a channel. The Dixie could also push higher to a channel. But what you'll notice is that they're both going up, right? And this isn't supposed to be happening. The Dixie moving up and Bitcoin moving up is a bit of a contradiction. But let's take a look here at the percentage. Well, the percentage move isn't going to be anywhere near close, but let's take a look at it anyway. So candle close to candle close, 4% move to the upside for the Dixie since March 8th. Since March 8th for Bitcoin, you can see that it's been down 4%. Okay, so you can say that you've had some continuity here, that it's been intact, but in that time, Bitcoin has, you would have to say, mostly been sideways, especially for the volatile asset that it is. So, you're kind of beginning to ask the question is there really that reverse correlation anymore as Bitcoin is moving into the bull market? What I would say is that day to day, you're still likely to see, like, if the Dixie's green, which it is today, it's up 0.2%. If the Dixie is in a green candle on the daily, that you're likely to see Bitcoin in a red candle. But today, we're just barely in a red candle on, that's the dominance. But today, yeah, so we're not in a red candle at all on Bitcoin today. So Bitcoin's going up today, and so is the Dixie. So what does that mean? Well, there's a lot that can mean that I don't have time to explain, but ultimately it means that the Dixie is no longer a very reliable indicator for whether Bitcoin go up or down on any given day. Maybe you have a different take on that. Maybe you have a reason to believe that what I just said is false. But that's kind of the way I'm clocking it right now. Crux of Crypto jumped in and said average no 1-2 DEX to AMM is worth a top 150 slot. Quick swap. Okay, so you're getting into a very specific question here, talking about dApps and automatic market makers that could be in the top 150. So I'm going to let that one lie because I don't know exactly what was being said about that, but probably Crux is right. Probably Crux is right. And then back on my bullish, said correlation is not causation. Yeah, and correlation is not causation here for the Dixie to Bitcoin. What I will say is that historically it's been pretty accurate, it's been pretty reliable, but as Bitcoin kind of ramps up into this bull market, the Dixie becomes less relevant because the buy thesis has more to do with the halving and more to do with the ETFs, the wind in its sails from the ETFs, than it does the macroeconomics. So whereas in 2023, Bitcoin had a lot of wind in its sails because of the weakness perceived by the U.S. banking system. And that was just one factor, right? That was definitely not the overwhelming majority of the bullishness behind Bitcoin in 2023, when it vastly outperformed the S&P. But it absolutely did play a role, and there was weakness in the dollar, if I'm not mistaken on that. But luckily, we have the charts right here so we can look at it. Let's take a look at the monthly candles here for 2023 on the Dixie. Yeah, so it was generally sideways, really. Let's see, it opened, okay, well, it opened the year with a down candle. And then by December of 2023, it was almost unchanged. Or you could say up a percentage. So it wasn't like the dollar gained a bunch of purchasing power or gained on the euro all that much in that time. So, right. So that's something to think about. In the time that the dollar was essentially sideways, Bitcoin had quite a bit of movement. Let's look at Bitcoin in 2023. Right. If you go back to January 1st, goodness gracious, to December 2023, 150% right? So is there a strong correlation between the Dixie moving down and Bitcoin moving up? Well, yes, I would say generally yes, there is. But on a yearly analysis, in the time that the Dixie was sideways, Bitcoin had quite a move higher. Let's get into the stories here. BlackRock targets Saudi Arabia after successful Bitcoin ETF launch. Look at Larry Fink there, just having a laugh. You can almost hear the AI-generated image laughing there, which is a lot of fun. He said, "The Middle East is an important market for BlackRock, both in terms of the investment opportunity for our clients and for the continued growth of our international business. We have a long-standing client relationship with Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE," a BlackRock spokesperson said. So, foreign direct investment into Saudi Arabia is high, as you can see, and it's been growing. And that is because of their public investment fund. So overall here, guys, it is very bullish because this could mean that Larry Fink and his sales bros could be over there looking to sell Bitcoin to the Saudis. This strategic move places BlackRock in a prime position to access the state-owned Public Investment Fund, PIF, which controls approximately just short of $1 trillion, 925 billion, right? So pretty bullish news there. I wouldn't say this is anything crazy in terms of Bitcoin. It could be, right? If geopolitical tensions start to rise even more, and there's a lot of wealth-seeking alternatives to the dollar and the euro, then you could see this potentially splash into something more significant as Saudi Arabia says, okay, we want to even diversify out of our own currency, which I don't see that happening, but maybe diversify out of our own economy and diversify into digital assets such as Bitcoin. This could be big because BlackRock could be standing there with their iBits, with their iBit shares and say, yes, we will help you onboard into the future of currency. And then they probably would. Outside of that, I see Saudi Arabia probably just having a slow trickle here. Why this is significant is because of the many other industries that BlackRock is looking to potentially bundle up into nice tidy ETFs and sell directly to the Saudis. In addition to more than likely investing in the Saudi infrastructure and different diversification options for investment for the Saudis, domestically and abroad. Domestically to Saudi Arabia, should specify. But overall, this is going to be honestly bigger for BlackRock. So this is more of a buy BlackRock shares than it really is Bitcoin, in my opinion. But of that $925 billion, I'm sure that not 0% of it is going to get an allocation into Bitcoin via these BlackRock ETFs. So, again, probably more of a boom for BlackRock's price per share than Bitcoin. Although, I would be hesitant to buy, although Caleb Franson disclosed this last week that he bought some BlackRock for the first time. You have to realize that there's a lot more going on over at BlackRock than just Bitcoin ETFs. Quite a bit more. So you need to make sure that you do your own research and understand why you would be buying shares of that bank. All right, moving along here. Grayscale's planned mini Bitcoin ETF will have a 0.15% fee, the lowest among spot Bitcoin ETFs. Is that true? Let's look at the Dune data, which I believe does track the... Oh, actually, I don't think this one does track the... Yes, it does. Okay, great. So you've got the fees here. 0.15, yes, would be competitive with the very lowest one here from EasyBC, which is the Franklin Templeton. And man, even with that very small fee, they've only managed to accumulate 5,000 Bitcoin for their clients, which equates to about 324 million versus a 0.25 fee, right? Which is markedly higher. It's not the highest. The highest is 0.3, right? But this 25% fee, man, I should say 0.25% fee is rather high, and it has accumulated much more to the tune of 18 billion And this is BlackRock, and it is quickly gaining on Grayscale, and we'll be flipping Grayscale pretty quickly, pretty soon. So that is the number to beat. And now, that is Grayscale's strategy here, is to come out with a mini Bitcoin ETF that is 0.15. Now, what is meant by mini? I'm not sure, so let's read further here. The existing Grayscale Bitcoin ETF has a 1.5 fee. We know that. It is introducing, the filing says the company will contribute 10% of the assets in GBTC to the Bitcoin Trust. Shares of the Bitcoin Trust are to be issued and distributed automatically to holders of GBTC shares. This is actually kind of big. The pro forma financial statements are projections of future expenses. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, here we go. Grayscale's Bitcoin Mini Trust was conceived to offer GBTC investors a lower fee option. There's an idea that's more competitively in line with other Bitcoin ETFs approved back in January. Currently, the Franklin Templeton, that we just took a look at, is at 19, the lowest cost, and Grayscale's wanting to come in at 0.15. Okay. A little too late, buddy. Grayscale. Grayscale is single-handedly responsible for the Sell the News event back here in January. It only led to, at maximum, wick to wick, a 19, call it 20% pullback. But that you could have erased that pullback, and you could have just seen, Bitcoin say, no Sell the News event, and then by now we would be somewhere around here. And of course, this is all back of the napkin type of calculations. Don't be trading on squiggly lines like this. But that could put us around 80,000 to 85,000, certainly higher than we are now. If BlackRock hadn't totally fumbled the ball here with their high fees, but it looks like they're trying to institute a remedy here. Grayscale's current assets under management stands at around $19.6 billion. Its nearest rival, BlackRock, has grown to 17.5, which in the live numbers, as we just saw, is more like this, with BlackRock being the one on the bottom. So they're getting close. They're getting close. And does that matter to you? Does that matter to your portfolio? Not really. It doesn't. But these are gigantic whales that are looking to have some stake here for sure. Now, things get interesting over here with Justin Sun and his bags. Over $405 million worth of Ethereum in just days. Why? Why, Justin? Why would you do this to us? So he's on a massive Ethereum buying spree. His data analytics platform and tracking site Look On Chain has pointed out. The Look On Chain data revealed that from April 8th to date, Justin Sun has acquired a total of 127,000 ETH, worth hundreds of millions of dollars, 400 to be exact. While the wallets linked to Justin have a rich track record of buying Ethereum, they also have a robust selling activity as well. Since at least March 31st, the wallets have reportedly deposited 787 million USDT. That's a stablecoin to Binance on Tron, a move that adds further intrigue to the whale's trading activity. Earlier reports show that a wallet linked to Sun acquired a total of 168 Ethereum worth approximately 487 million at 2,894 between February 2nd and February 24th. That's a good entry for Ethereum these days. These acquisitions were made on both Binance and decentralized exchanges. While the activities of these two wallets are similar, they remain speculatively linked to Justin Sun. So what could this mean? Well, he's buying Ethereum, but he's also entering into a process where it looks like the SEC is going to try to get full jurisdiction over the court case that may involve Justin Sun, which to my mind, there really hasn't been any crime committed other than operating decentralized services, financial services out of South Korea. So you would think that the Korean financial regulatory authorities would be the ones to have jurisdiction here, but doesn't look like that's going to be the case if the Americans have something to say about it. In conclusion, while Ethereum remains the de facto smart contract pioneer with robust DeFi ecosystem, the Justin Sun trades are essentially further proof that the ecosystem leads in terms of liquidity influx. So whatever he's trying to do, whether he's trying to gather a bunch of decentralized assets so that he can pay lawyers or whatever it's going to be, he's doing it through Ethereum. And Ethereum, is his most reliable kind of move here. Now, there's a chance that he's just buying it as a speculative play, but more than likely, knowing somebody like Justin Sun, he's doing it for very practical, very utilitarian reasons, not speculative, not really investment, but potentially an obfuscation of the traditional financial systems. You have been tuned in to the Investing Bros. I've been T-Shroom, and I'm still going to continue to be T-Shroom, but I'm going to be a much happier T-Shroom if you were to smash the like button and consider subscribing if you've gotten value out of this video. So while Bitcoin is channel bound, right, we have seen a recent breakout up above the midline of that channel, and now it is just the midline of the Bollinger Band on the daily to get up above to continue to signal a positive continuation of bullishness for Bitcoin. And as we speak, Bitcoin has retraced a bit, now live trading at 65,781 after wicking as high as 66,005 this morning. That is the midline of the channel, right? Let's take a look. One last look here at the midline of the Bollinger Band, and we are close. We have wicked up to it. We're coming back. We're reloading that shotgun, and we're gonna see if that trigger is pulled to blast us back to Valhalla. Thank you so much for tuning in. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tim and I will be going live, and we'll be also dropping a video here at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time later this evening. We are so glad that you are tuned in, locked in to the Bros. If you are absolutely loving it and you want more, consider joining the YouTube membership here and subscribing. It's a lot of fun, and we'd love to have you. If you're trading today, keep those stop losses tight, and if you're human, stay hydrated.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.